How's it going, everyone? Shiny Plume here with a new deck profile. Today, we got a Memento deck profile. So this deck, I am playing this pure, so there's no Fiendsmith cards and there's no Goblin Biker cards. This is just a pure Memento deck. So I'm going to go over what I chose for the deck and some things I would do to change the deck later. So if you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Got 3 copies of Memento and Anguish. On normal or special summon, this adds any Memento monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can destroy a Memento you control to summon a level 2 or lower from your graveyard. Usually it's used for its first effect, not its second effect, but its second effect can come up in certain board states. Then we got 3 copies of Darkblade. Darkblade is another great starter in this deck. On summon, it can discard a card, discard a spell or trap, and destroy it. But the main effect that matters is it destroys a Memento you control to summon a level 3 or lower from your deck. So if you use Darkblade's effect, you can summon the Anguish and they'll get you a search. So these two really go hand in hand. Then for the other starter, we got 2 copies of Memento and Goblin. Memento and Goblin is one of the more interesting starters in this deck. This is the one that I had to learn the most. So what this does is in your hand, if you have the big boss monster on the field, you could discard it to make all of your Memento monsters untargetable for the turn. That's only during your opponent's turn, though. And the part that matters is that during the main phase, you can destroy a Memento you control to send 2 Memento cards from your deck to your graveyard. Not Memento monsters, Memento cards. This is one of the most insane starters for the deck, but it is also like the one that is most fragile. But it does get you to one of the best combos of the deck. Then for the monster you most likely will be searching with Anguish, 3 copies of Tatsu no Toshigo. So if you have no monsters on your field or all your monsters on your field are Mementos, you can special summon this from your hand. Then while it's on the field, you can destroy a Memento you control and send Memento monsters from your deck to graveyard up to its level. So for example, if you have this on your field, and you destroy it, it's a level 5. So you can send, let's say, a level 3 plus a level 2. You could send a level 1 plus a level 4. You could send a level 2, a level 1, and a level 1. It's up to the level. But basically, this can send many cards from your deck to your graveyard. Most of the deck is about destroying your cards and sending cards from your deck to your graveyard. So this is one of the best ways to do it. So those are the main starters of the deck. So then we go to the extenders/combo pieces. So we have 1 copy of Gaddock and 1 copy of Sleepy. So Gaddock is, if it's sent to the graveyard by the effect of a Memento monster, you can special summon it, and then on special summon, you can target a Memento card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So usually with the Tatsu no Toshigo, you can send these 2, summon the Gaddock from your graveyard, get this one back into your hand. The reason you want this one back in your hand is if a Memento is destroyed on the turn, and this is in your hand, you can quick effect summon it, and then on summon, it lets you fusion summon a Memento monster using monsters from your hand or field. This is one of the main ways to fusion summon in this deck. So these 2 are kind of mandatory to play in the deck. This one's not bad to see in your hand at any point. This one is kind of bad to see in your hand because you really want it in your graveyard. But other than that, these 2 are really good. Then for the other extenders, play 1 Mace and 1 Akihiron. Mace, while it's on the field, you can destroy a Memento to search for a Memento. It doesn't come up that often, but the other reason you play it is for the Combined Creation. If this is in your hand, then if you have Combined Creation on your field during your opponent's main phase, you can discard this card and take control of one of your opponent's monsters. Doesn't come up very often, but this card is still a necessary extender. And then Akihiron. This one reads like a custom card. So if it's in your graveyard and the Memento monster is destroyed, you can special summon it. On special summon, it lets all of your level 9 or higher Memento monsters attack directly. And if this one is destroyed, you can target a banished Memento card and add it back to your hand. So this is a great recursion piece and great way to go for OTKs. So these 2 are very, very good to play. Then we're talking about the big monster. Here he is, the 1 copy of Combined Creation. This is the big payoff for most of the things you're doing in this deck. So this cannot be no similar set. It must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by shuffling back 5 Memento monsters with different names from your hand or grave. And then it's big 5,000 attack beat stick. When your opponent activates a card effect, you can summon a Memento from your hand or grave. And if it's the only monster on your field, it could attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. So this is what you're setting up for. This is why you're sending all of these Mementos to grave, to summon out this guy. And he is the big payoff for the deck. He is fantastic. So that's it for the monsters in the main deck. So let's get into the spells. Play 1 copy of Memento Mictlan. So Mictlan is the field spell for this deck. The reason you play that 1 is 1, it's searchable in this deck, and 2, it's not really a starter or extender. It's more an endboard piece. So if a Memento you control is destroyed, you can target it and then summon a Memento with a different name from your graveyard. That is a lower level than the monster that was destroyed. If a Memento monster attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell or traps during the damage step, so basically turns every Memento into Ancient Gear Golem. And during your end phase, you can target a Memento spell or trap in your graveyard and set it. So this is one of the big payoffs to also let you play on your opponent's turn. Basically, this in combination with this is like a really scary end board, because you basically have a big 5,000 beat stick that, if destroyed, summons a bunch of smaller pieces, and also this lets you set the spell or traps that you use to summon the Memento monsters. So for the other Memento spells, we got 3 copies of Fusion and 3 copies of Bone Party. So Bone Party is a fantastic card to have in your hand at all times. It lets you destroy a Memento from your hand or field and summon one with a different name from your deck, or add to hand, but most likely you'll summon it from the deck. And then in the graveyard, this also, if you banish it during the main phase, your Memento monsters get piercing damage. Not as the piercing damage does come up, but it's not as important. What is important is that at the end of your combo, Mictlan sets this card, and this is a quick play, so you basically do everything that you want to do on your opponent's turn as well. Then, as for Memento Fusion, it's more than a standard fusion spell. It starts off as saying as a standard fusion spell as a quick play, but because so you fusion summon any fusion monster using Memento monsters on your hand or field. But if a Memento was destroyed in that turn, you can shuffle back Mementos from your graveyard as part of the cost as well. And if this is in your graveyard, you can banish it, destroy a Memento you control, and add any Memento spell or trap from your deck to your hand, including itself. So you can get this or Bone Party. Now, I should mention that I do not play any of the Memento trap cards. I think they're fine. The Fracture Dance is pretty good, and the Cranium Burst is also a really good card. But the reason I'm not playing Cranium Burst, the Mictlan field spell can only set 1 spell or trap from your grave at the end of your turn. And most of the time it's going to be either Bone Party or Fusion, so that you can play on your opponent's turn. And that's usually more important than having 5 on-field negates. 2, the 5 on-field negates only realistically works if you have the big guy on board. So if your big guy gets removed by any means, then you just kind of have a dead card on your field. The third reason is removal cards like Ghost Ogre and Ryzeal Detonator are very popular in this format. So having a continuous trap card that gives you negates on board, but it's once per chain, is not very useful in a world where it can easily just be destroyed. So those are the main reasons I don't play that card. Then for the last, I guess, engine card is 1 Pot of Prosperity. Since I'm playing this deck pure, play 1 Pot of Prosperity is it just feels fantastic because you're not really going to your extra deck very often aside from the fusion monsters. There are a bunch of links and stuff in my extra deck, but most of the time it's just like the fusion monsters. So you have a lot of room in your extra deck, and you can banish most of it to dig for your starters. Then for the non-engine I play 3 Nib, 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Fools, 3 Droplet, 1 called by, 1 cross out, 1 talents. Now, one of the really interesting advantages of playing pure Memento is you have room for a lot of non-engine. If you were counting, I believe this is 18 non-engine cards. And 18 non-engine cards is actually pretty high number. But unfortunately, one of the downsides of this format, in my opinion, is that you really do need a lot of non-engine for most decks. Granted, this deck can play through a lot, so a lot of non-engine doesn't really matter. Realistically, what I want to do is cut out 3 cards from the non-engine and put in 3 copies of Goblin Biker Grand Breakout. The reason I didn't play Grand Breakout is because I was trying the deck without it. The 3 copies of Grand Breakout is actually pretty good for this deck, even if you can't search it. Because it is basically 3 more copies of Bone Party, where you can. One of the advantages of Bone Party is that you can dodge targeting effects like Veiler or Imperm, and still get your effect off. Grand Breakout kind of works the same way, where you can tribute a monster and summon a goblin from your deck, which will be the Memento Goblin, which in itself is also full combo. So there's a lot of advantages to playing Grand Breakout, and I'm going to be playing that in the future. So that's it for the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. For the extra deck, we got 3 copies of the Creation King. Creation King is the best one to make. It requires 3 Memento monsters. On summon, it sends 3 Memento cards from your deck or extra to graveyard. So most of the time, you would send 2 Mementos you want engraved, and then 1 copy of itself. And the reason you want to send 1 copy of itself is because you can banish it to add the field spell. And on the field, you can quick effect target cards you control and target Memento monsters you control and an equal number of cards your opponent controls and destroy them. So this could pop upwards of like 3 cards on your opponent's field and on your field, but also you get advantages when your monsters get destroyed on your field, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, this is a level 9, so the Aki Huron can make this card attack directly. And combined creation plus Aki Huron plus Creation King. The combined creation and the Creation King combined for exactly 8,000 on board. So since they can tap directly, you know what that means. And then we could play 2 copies of Twin Dragon. So Twin Dragon is a pretty good extender in this deck. It requires 2 Memento monsters. And on summon, you can destroy a Memento and search for 2 Memento monsters and add them to your hand. And if this fusion summon monster is destroyed, it's supposed to summon a level 6 or lower Memento monster from your grave. So it comes out, destroys itself, searches 2, summons 1 from grave. It's ridiculous. Then for the supplemental cards, we got 1 card of Guardian Chimera, and Memento Infusion to make Guardian Chimera. That's why you play this. It's type the same. Didn't really come up in any of the games I played though. Then for the Link monsters, this is the most flexible part of the deck. You could realistically play anything you want because at the end of the day, these are the only 6 these are only 6 slots that are basically mandatory. And even then, you could realistically only play 4 if you wanted to. So you have a lot of flexibility in the extra deck for this deck. So for that reason, most of it is a fairly simple, generic extra deck. So we got 1 IP Masquerena, Cross Sheep because you make fusions, SP Little Knight because it's insane, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, a Bawaku. The reason I'm playing Nightmare Phoenix and Unicorn is for it to make a Bawaku. Underworld Goddess. This card is overperformed when I played this deck. Because you summon monsters very easily in this deck. So you just making 4 monsters and then getting rid of one of your opponent's big monsters to summon this, and then continue playing like nothing happened. It's kind of nice. And then for the XZs, I played 1 Typhon. Didn't really come up, and 1 Aggregator because in my side deck I played Ultimate Slayer. I'm not really going to show the rest of the side deck because most of it was fairly uninteresting. But the only thing you need to know is I played Ultimate Slayer. And that's it for my pure Memento deck profile. So what did you guys think of this deck profile? Did you think this was interesting? Is there any other improvements that you guys would make for this deck other than playing Grand Breakout? I really don't feel like playing Fiendsmith in this version. I don't think it really is necessary. But I really do like this deck. I've been playing it for a while, and I'm very happy to have picked up the deck again after very long absence from it. But that's it for this deck profile. During the end phase, Petal grows back. Thank you all for watching. Peace.